Well, hello there, everyone. Chuck G Violin is here again. It's been a minute since I've done a design video. And this is just a design session. I've started working on a new golf course. I'm having a little bit of a kind of crisis of confidence, so to speak. Having a little trouble getting something finished and in the works that I like. And even if I do get something that I like, I'm having a little trouble having anybody else like it, honestly. So, a lot of my recent golf courses have not done well. And when I say done well, I mean, number one, they get lots of plays. Number two, they get lots of positive feedback. And then also, they're used on tour or, on TGC tours or, place well in a contest. I haven't done contests in a while, but I have actually done. I submitted a course to the Challenge Circuit contest that did not finish even in the top 20, which is kind of a shock. To be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed. But you know what? I mean, a lot of this is a little bit subjective. I thought I designed a golf course that kind of fit in the rubric and ticked all the boxes, and judges thought otherwise. So, what are you going to do? I've judged these contests before myself, so I know, that a lot of it is very subjective. So, it is what it is. I'm going to try and move on. I was a little depressed about it for a few days. Quite honestly, I have 3 golf courses that are all but finished. I have 18 holes. I've got planting. I've got a lot of stuff on 3 different golf courses, none of which are probably going to be published. Probably, maybe one of them might be. My first CC course for that contest, I actually finished a course, not finished, but, mostly finished. And then decided to go a different direction. Maybe I should have stuck with what I had. I don't know. But that course is all but finished, and 2 others are all but finished. And I don't know if I'll ever go back to those or not. At the time I was designing them, I thought they were pretty good, but, who knows these days. Anyways, looking forward, I've started a new golf course here. And as you can probably guess, or maybe not, I don't know, but this golf course is going to be very heavily inspired by Schinnecock Hills, which is my favorite golf course in the entire world. I have a, everyone has their favorites. Most, quote unquote, favorite golf courses or best golf courses in the world lists include a lot of the same ones. A lot of them include Schinnecock Hills. Right next door is National Golf Links of America, which is also probably in my top 5. I'm going to fix that. Let's kind of ease this on down and just kind of, there we go. That's a little better. Schinnecock Hills is my favorite golf course, bar none. And then there are others, obviously I love National Golf Links. I think it's just a terrific example of, kind of early American golf design, with a flair for, a little bit of Scotland in there. And of course the templates. Schinnecock has some template holes, but not as, it's not 18 holes of template golf, a la CB Macdonald. So, but this is going to be very heavily inspired by Schinnecock. I haven't copied the routing. I haven't, done it, other than, kind of the look and feel of the golf course. I'm not trying to necessarily copy Schinnecock Hills as best I can. I'm going to try to, there'll be some holes that definitely you're going to be like, oh, dude, this is like 14 at Schinnecock or something like that. Actually this 17th hole is the shortest par 3, but that's actually going to be on the water there. So one of the other par 3s, maybe number 4, will be, the big uphill par 3 like you see on the back 9 at Schinnecock. But anyway, let's have a little play of the first 2 holes. I'm going to turn the wind off. We're going to do pin set 1. It's the one I haven't tested the most. And then I'm going to fix up these bunkers because I need them to look like these bunkers, which I really like the look of. I'm trying a little something different here. And let's see what we can see. So, play course. Not a lot of water on this golf course. There's going to be water in play on, I think, 3 holes, unless I decide otherwise. But here we have kind of your, medium length par 4, fairway at an angle off the tee. Ooh, look out there. Let's fix that while I remember it. This hole has been painted because I have some kind of not midline, so to speak, but I've got these bunkers up here. So let's fix that right away because that is a big old no-no on a golf course. Any others? Well, I'll find them as we go. My habit, of course, is to always save before I play it. And, this game doesn't crash very often, but, I say that and then it will crash. So, the play obviously on this hole is down the left. This ought to be perfect. You want to kind of hug those bunkers. Otherwise, you're dealing with these very deep bunkers over here. I've tried to make the greens as severe as possible. Right now, I have the greens set at stupid fast. They're set at, I think, 214 or 213. So, when I publish this, these will be turned down to something in probably the 150s or 60s. Stay up. Okay. And then, I want this course to be playable on very fast. So, I've also done the cool thing where you have kind of the two-tone fairways. I've seen that on a few courses. B101 had an early course of his that was this way. And it's a really cool effect, and it's actually really easy to do. I'll talk about that when we get to hole number 3. You could do 3 wood off the tee here, or you could try to squeeze something in there. This should be fine. I added that bunker on the right kind of at the last minute. And, so now we're only 236 out. This is a very reachable, very gettable par 5. How good is that shot? Oof. Okay. And then this actually is a fairly benign putt, and I'm wondering why. I need to maybe readdress this. Did I push it? Yeah, I did just a little. Now it's got to stop. Gotta stop. Okay. Because otherwise, she gone. As my least favorite baseball announcer would say. Okay. So let's go fix that green a little bit. Where was that? That was pin 1, which is here. And I didn't get any. See, and angles, when you're just going to kind of do a little bit of something like that. That ought to do it. I want, for sure, I like to have, make sure that my holes break at least in 2 different directions. That sounds dirty, but it's not, I promise. And I want the holes to, to break in multiple directions. Let's go ahead and fix. This is going to take a year and a half. Let's work on number 3. And I kind of like the way this looks already. Because it's going to kind of be a big old uphill tee shot. So short hole here, up the hill. It's really not up the hill, but, obviously water is in play off the tee. So something like, a 3 wood to here. leaves us, 100 yards in. This will be, of course, extremely difficult green here. Just going to smooth this out a little bit. And let's see what we want. We're going to have a very shallow green that is going to be, unfortunately, all the other ones, but it's going to be, in so much as like the farther you hit it, the worse your angle is going to be. So it's going to be something kind of like this. It's not going to be a very large green. So if you're kind of down here, you have a little bit better angle than if like you're over here. Yeah, let's just fix this a little bit. Something more like this. And then the water's only in play on this hole and then 16 and 17 right now. I may add some water, maybe like 12. 13 be a good candidate, I believe. Yeah, there's a low area here where I could put some water. A lot of times I will make a flat golf course and then build terrain as I go. That is not the case here. I've gone ahead and started with the terrain. Actually, we're going to bump all of that up a very large amount here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then we'll flatten it down so that players can see the fairway from the tee. I hate that it defaults back to raise. Always does that. That bothers me. Except when I want it not to. When I want it not to do that, it freaking, goes ahead and defaults and stays on flatten. All right, so let's make us a fairway. And I'm going to just eyeball this one. I don't usually do this. And I'm trying to do a little bit something different with my fairway shapes as well. I usually have lots of... God, this hole's just like number 2 in terms of where to hit it. And I don't like that I've done that twice in a row. Because on number 2, it's the same thing. You want to hit down the left, but you got to leave it short. And you can try and squeeze something over here. I'm going to leave it this way and hope that subsequent holes will get a little bit more variety. And I'm going to have to work to do that. We're going to make this tee box go this way. I'm trying to use just kind of basic golf shapes, as I call them. All right. That should be fine. And then we'll put something over here for our forward tees. That's not great, but let's see if we can make it a little better. Smooth. Yeah, I'll get these spread out a little bit. Okay, and then the only place I'm using light rough is right around these tee boxes. Just give it a little bit of polish. That one might be a little bit too narrow up there. We shall see. Oops, nope. Yeah, he's a little bit narrow. Although that's fine. Number 1, no one's going to play from up there. So I just want this whole thing to just be a little bit uphill. Well, let's see how that plays. That's the all-important thing, is does it play right? Okay, so I got no wind. I haven't flattened the tee boxes yet, so this is going to be a little squirrely. Yeah, but... Oops, that's a pull. And that is potentially wet. Yeah. Good. We want that. Actually, let's go back and hit that again and try to hit it straight. You know, I don't love that I can't see the water from the tee, but too bad. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone just a little bit. How wide is this? This doesn't look very wide. Oh, shit, it's 50 yards wide. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so it's plenty wide. We'll put a bunker. We're going to put a bunker right here, and I just, you know, I'm trying to get players to not hit it up here. And if they want to hit it up here, you know, go for it. But, you know, I mean, this area is probably only about 20 yards wide. Yeah, a little more than 20. So, you know, hopefully, you know, most players use the scout cam. Almost everybody does. Better players, maybe not. Just adding some elevation here. Because we do want some... You know, I don't love this fairway shape, to be honest with you. So we're going to just, you know, we're going to have a mulligan here on this. One of my favorite not players, but one of my favorite designers in City Skylines, which is a game I have come to really enjoy. I'm playing City Skylines 2 a lot. All right, that is, you know, monumentally more interesting. We can do the bunker over here like I want. Just bring this in a little bit. Man, am I hungry. I need to eat something pretty soon. I'll have to deal with coffee for now. Excuse me. Right. And get this in a little bit. And then we have this. This is potentially going to be an issue for guys. This we want specifically for the fellas that are going to hit 3-wood off the tee. Good, very nice. Let's smooth this guy and then make a green. All of the green sites on this golf course, you know, are going to be surrounded by fairway. I'll cut the fairway, you know, pretty close, like over here from time to time, but I really like, you know, it enables golfers to hit shots. All right, I'm here, so I'm doing these friggin' bunkers. Sorry. This is how I did it, by the way, in case you were wondering. There's not much trick to it. Just make this small and trace it just inside so it comes over just a little bit. This might be a little too much. And this is my dirt texture. See how big that is? I didn't want it quite so big. I might have to redraw this. Let's go smaller. That did nothing. let's redraw this. Sometimes these textures can really bleed over. You can see how this is already starting to oh shoot, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So let's have take 2 on this. And we're just going to really cut it close in here because I don't want this obviously to be too big. That's never what she said. And I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way in terms of not getting this quite so wide. First thing we're going to do is this. And then we're going to just have to draw some heavy rough. Let's actually first, we're going to... Oh, that's the bunker. Duh. I was like, why am I not getting... There we go. All right. And we're going to just have to do this. Well, there we go. And we'll do a brush up here. That's better. These bunkers up here, actually, I created them differently than I had the rest. Maybe I should have. Let's see what happens if I do something crazy. I need my bunker. Where's my bunker? There we go. Yeah, it's not really working. I mean, that is a very tough bunker right there. Maybe I'll leave these be. Oh no, that did. Let's undo that. We are going to leave this. Let's get us just a little bit more heavy rough. This is going to be in the way of the other bunker. Okay. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, I think. Damn it. Bunker. I want the bunker. That's when you start getting, a little bit... All right, let's do this one. And again, we're going to really have to be inside because I don't have that sharp lip. And I'm going to have to really draw some heavy rough, aren't I? Yup. Oops. Have not made a decision on cart paths yet. I generally like to use cart paths. Gives the golf course a little bit of polish. Not Polish. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's get that saved. And get back to hole the third. So yeah, let's get some bunkers drawn in. Let's actually smooth this a little bit better over here. Not using light rough, that's for sure. I usually like to do that too. That's a pretty sizable sand trap, so to speak. This one will be considerably smaller. Oh, everyone's going live. Sorry, my phone is. And then when we actually, do some elevation work on these bunkers, we will go ahead and add that dirt. I do want to fix this. That's a little close. Like I said, I've been a little lacking some confidence come design way. My CC contest course just didn't land. I didn't stick the landing, so to speak. I may try to get some of feedback on it. Square this off a little bit. We'll see if I actually, if I decide that I want that feedback. I suppose that I do because I need to see what was wrong with it. All right. What do we want for a green? We're going to have this area by the water be a little bit narrower. That's cool looking. I draw these shapes out. This is a little jagged over here, and then I'll mess with it. One of the things I don't do a lot is have very interesting green shapes. I'm trying to get better at that. It's just trying to get more creative. I subscribe to the theory. I just don't practice the theory of in order to make an omelet, you've got to break some eggs. And that is in order to get something excellent, finished, an excellent finished product. You have to kind of, start with something that's not so great. So, I'm working to try to be a little bit more creative, and we're going to kind of see how that goes. So, this is going to be a great hole location right there. Right. So we will have some fairway here. Over the back is not going to be a great spot to be. Something like that. That'll do. So let's see what this looks like from the tee. Sorry, I save a lot you learn that once you've lost some work to a crash, a power outage, a what have you. Yeah, there we go. Well, I mean, that's the risk you take. Now I've got 70 yards, and that ain't going to work. So, all right, I dig it. I am going to just raise this up a little bit. I just, I don't like everything to run off. Not everything has to run off. All right, so bunker here. My dog has come to say hello. Hi, Wrigley. And bunker back here. This will be a little guy. What you doing, bud? All right, I'm going to take a short break here because I got to take the dog out. So I will be right back. For you, it'll be like 2 seconds, but you know what I mean. Okay, I'm back. Dang, it's cold out there. All right, so not a huge green. Being a shorter hole, I want to make sure that, it's pretty well contoured already. I kind of like it. But we can do better. I've taken to using the raise and lower instead of flatten when I'm making greens. I have found that works better for, more minute elevation changes. You can be a little bit more fine with it. When you flatten, you wind up, just kind of flattening out everything, and that's no good. I like to use this brush for bunkers. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. If you're back here, you're in big trouble. Let's get this guy done. I don't go all the way around with this brush because I want to give my bunkers a little bit of interest. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep. We like that. I like to do the bunkers first, and then that way, I can then make the green, and I don't destroy any of my green. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's going to be just, not where you want to be. And I'm going to put a little mound here. Yeah, there we go. Because then that way, if you're a little bit inaccurate, in you go. All right, so let's do our dirt. And this should be better than those other ones that I did on camera. This should be more like the ones I did before this video. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, we'll put the intensity down a skosh. We'll make it one little thing smaller. And that's pretty good. No, I don't mind that at all. That's fine. I'm going for, as I said, kind of a Schinnecock Hills look here. And the bunkers there, are deep and have some, stuff around them. So that will be the case here. I haven't decided whether I'll put grass. Yeah, that's going to need some rough around it because I don't want the dirt to go straight into fairway. Yeah, so we're going to have to just put a little there. Is that too much? It sure is. Well, let's smooth it and then move it. Nope. Where'd you go? Come back. There we are. Oops, nope. There we go. This is going to take a second to get right. Yeah, that will do. I dig it. Let's go ahead and I'm going to pop down the intensity a little bit. It just blends better with the grass. That's a cool golf hole. I dig it. Excuse me. Okay. Lukewarm coffee. Love it. All right. You know, when you have, as I like to say, I kind of honestly have, you know, undiagnosed ADD pretty much. So it's hard for me to sometimes concentrate on things. I like this. So let's make this a little bit more severe here. We dig it. And then I am going to use flatten over here. Did that do anything? Yeah, kind of. This is just kind of like a little bowl here. And I'm designing with 213 as my green speed, and I'm going to, as I said before, once I decide, I'm going to put pin 1 over here. Once, you know, the course is finished, or at least 18 holes are finished, then I will bump the green speed down as I see fit, down to something that's probably a little bit more. Yeah, I'll put him here, put 3 back there, and then, of course, 4. I do like to vary the hole locations. I've said this a million times, you know, so that 1 is not always the easiest and 4 is not always the hardest. But I reserve 4 for just, you know, hole locations that just, you know, either that just scream for like a vanity, you know, hole location, kind of like this over here. How is that coming down this way? Okay. So we could give it a little bit more on this side. Again, this is why I'm using the raise. If I flatten this, then it ruins other, you know, other elevation that might be there. Gosh, I like this green very much. If I do say so myself. Oops. Just using one at a time, not more than 1 for my, might be a little severe. You know, and it just, you know, just a couple of little pops with that will kind of get rid of some of the more obnoxious elevation. like that. Cool beans. So that came together very quickly. I'm kind of glad it did because, number one, I'm videoing this, so y'all get to see me create a pretty cool hole. A lot of times I get on, I get on stream, or I get on, or just do a video like this, and it winds up just not looking good at all, and makes me not want to publish said video. I'm going to move the fairway here just a little bit. That'll help with that rough there. All right, nifty. Before we do anything else, I'm going to show you how I make the two-toned fairway. Some of you probably already know this, but this is how I do it. I don't know the other way to do this. This is really kind of the easiest way. Now, I always seem to have the dark on the right, so let's do that. We're going to use our weathering tool, but we're going to use our surface weathering tool, and I'm just going to kind of come down the middle here, like so, and then overlap the edge of the fairway just a little. This is going to be tight over here when I do that bunker. That's a little too far over the edge, actually. And then this maybe a little bit more. Okay, so that's, obviously that's a little, too much. So let me smooth it and then adjust the, where it is. Because I'm not evenly down the middle here. Pretty cool. This is not evenly down the middle, so let's fix that. Not bad. This can come over a little more as such. And then what I'll do is I'll turn down the strength of that surface thing. This needs to come way over. Yeah. It's more like that. I'll smooth it again here in a minute. But this is a very easy way. See, now I'm kind of over the edge here, but we're going to move this intensity way down. Whoops. Is that good enough? Not really. So I don't even remember what I had the other ones at. It was like 50-something, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now see how you could see that I'm over here. So I want this closer to the fairway because I don't want that rough right there to be obviously weathered. Now, the other thing that I've done here, and this is very important, the theme that I'm using, and I've never used this theme as of yet. This is one of the themes that came with the game. It's new. It's called Temperate. And the Temperate theme has a very interesting kind of thing with it in that when you do weathering, it doesn't brown the earth. It just really kind of lightens it. So you don't get the brown that you get with the other themes. Like if I use one of the regular ones, any of them actually, besides this one, this would be brown instead of just a lighter version of the green that I'm using. So that looks pretty cool. All right. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to flatten my tee boxes here. And just kind of do that a little bit. And then, that hole location's not any good. Not hole location, but the tees. Oh, that's a shadow. Got it. Never mind. That's because I had it down. Oops. There we go. That should be okay. Yep. I might make this spline a little bit bigger. I think I have to. I know that there are small tee boxes on golf courses. But I just, All right. So let's play and see how the hole locations are. We're going to see how they work on... Sorry, my hands are cold. Ooh. I live near Atlanta, but it's cold here too. It's probably 45 or so out right now. And yeah, I like the way this looks. So let's go ahead and do the play, which is with 3-wood. Bunkers are definitely in play with 3-wood, but... Oh, I left that out to the right a little bit, and this is going to do exactly what I wanted. Oh, no, it stayed. So, this is okay. I mean, it's a little orange. That is going to break hard. Let's see if it stops, though. That's the key. Yeah, it does stop. I might just lighten that slope up a little bit. I want the course to play and the greens to play tough. Oops. On most anything, I think that's much better. So I don't have to hit another tee shot. Oh, shoot. Oops. I meant to hit play from here. Oh, well. Got to go a little. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and I left that out to the right, too, but that might stay on the green. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot better. Still not going to stay up, though. Duh. Okay. Good. That worked nicely. All right. So what I do is I will generally play and then work on the hole a little bit and then play the next hole location and then work on the hole a little bit. And I do need to kind of smooth this out a little. That's better. Okay, now, just like I do with the other bunkers, we'll kind of do this. And then work my way back away from it so that it just doesn't look like, because I don't want it to look like that. I want it to be smooth into the fairway. That's not so bad. And we're going to bump this way up right here. And then maybe bump this down over here. Yeah. Just give the bunker a little bit more character, so to speak. And then this is why you want to be a little careful with flat, because, yeah, there we go. And then let's put our dirt. What I didn't do is I didn't change. I want to change my angle so that I have the best the best view in the best light. Yeah, that's pretty good. But you could see there's like a seam there. I would like to get rid of as much of that as I can. Some of that's caused by, you know, the surface weathering, so to speak. I want to flatten it now. There we go. Cool. Oop, we got a little, that doesn't look so great. Oops. Yeah, that's a lot better. And let's add our dirt. Want to always try. This is going to, because of the elevation, I think this texture will go up the side a little bit more. Yeah, but not too much. That's not too bad. Just move it back away from there a little bit. Pretty cool. I'm going to add a little bit of rough, though, because I like the way that it looks, but that's probably too much, right? Oh, yeah. Where's my... There we go. And then right here. Actually, let's just delete that point. That should... Yeah. Okay, cool. Next... I think the high side of this bunker will be over here. I like, you know, bunkers should have a high side and a low side. They generally do. You know, again, I'll smooth this out here in a little bit. It's too high. It's like Major League. It's too high. And then... Yep. Where Not to Hit the Ball by Chuck G. Violin. Okay, so we've done that. We're going to test hole location number dos. This will give you kind of an idea of how I work. This is my quote-unquote workflow, so to speak. Let's try it. Why not? And that is going to be wet. Yes. Wah, wah. So driver not the play. This is going to have to go. Go, 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 go. And it did. Oofa. I'm going to have to step on this. Got to go. All right. That's not terrible. Putting straight up the hill, which I like, but I don't have... See how I don't have brake? I don't have brake, you know, right to left or left to right. I'm only up the hill. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to try and remember where it was on the green. So I was like down here. So let's see if that... I was about right here. Let's see what happens. It's about the same putt. And see what I mean? It's like weird. But now that I've got brake coming from that direction, I'm going to add some more in the other direction, get us like a double braking putt, which is fun. Well, not if you're a player. So I was kind of like here. So we had some brake from this direction. We need some brake. That looks like it's not okay. But let's say I was about right here. Let's see what that looks like. That's weird. I added more brake. I added more slope over there. All right, let's keep screwing with it. I want to be careful, though, because I don't want to mess up, my other kind of hole locations that I've made. That might be too much, but yeah, see, now I've kind of messed this up. I want this to be smoother down to this hole location. What's up there? Ooh, that's dastardly. All right, let's see. Again, I was, in this area here. I'm going to kind of come that way a little bit. That's so weird because from the design view, it looks like there's just so much more brake. I could work on this for an hour trying to get this right. I may yet do that. I don't want it to be that long of a video, though. Just want to get rid of a little of that red. There we go. And then I think I will do that. And then it has screwed it up a little bit. Well, that's weird now. Let's do this. I'm breaking a lot of eggs to make this omelet. And I have to also remember, this is not, it's not going to be okay. That's better. Okay, just need to make sure that I didn't mess anything else up. Easy for me to say. Okie dokie. Let's get back on here and see how we did. Ooh, yeah, we did okay. We overdid. But that's something I've been using more. Is the play from here. Oops. That should be okay. That's a little bit more of a sharp tier, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and play from the fairway this time. We're going to say I hit a nice 3-wood to right here. Let's save. Just like Glengarry Glen Ross, always be saving. Well, left it out to the right a little bit. See, and that won't stay up, which I kind of like, actually. Just I have a gap in my bag to where I can't hit. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Let's go ahead and play number 3. Let's actually, before we do that, let's make a little bit more ambient elevation, as I like to call it. Just make sure that this hole is properly separated from the second hole. Just going to kind of smooth out some of this a little. I don't mind if it looks a little bit severe. Damn it. Oh, that's pretty good. What is this doing over here? There we go. All right, we're going to play the hole out. Oh, I didn't put dirt. Did I not put dirt in that bunker? I don't think I did. All right, I'll do that next. After we try hole location the third. See, now this has got me hitting 3-wood. Yeah, I love how you really have to kind of challenge those bunkers. Oh, left it out to the right. That's in the bunker, I think. Yep. That means I designed that correctly. So we're going to re-hit that, though, because I'm not testing how bad the bunkers are. I'm testing how good the hole locations are. That's a much better swing. Oh, much better swing, actually. And this looks okay. Cool. All right, let's do my... Oh, I don't think... Yeah, I did work on this bunker, but I don't think... It doesn't look finished to me. That's because I smoothed it with the flatten tool to take out some of the kinks. So let's reintroduce some kinks. Not that kind of kinky, dirty-minded people. Cool. And some dirt. And just use the edge as the guide and get that dirt in there. This actually probably will turn out okay. Oh yeah, it's almost perfect. Beautiful. I used to, in the old days, I used to actually do brushes for that. And for this course, I've decided to try something a little different. And it is working very well. There, that's better. At this point, I would normally put some just random elevation in this fairway, but it's pretty good. Oops, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Edit. I would normally put a little bit of random elevation in the fairway, some humps and bumps, kind of like you might see over here. It's better to see it kind of from this angle. But this fairway is sufficiently humped and or bumped. So, no, not flatten. I'm going to give it just a little bit of punch bowl. And that should do fine. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with planting yet. As I am kind of going for a, as I said, Schinnecock Hills type of look, you know, there's not going to be a lot of trees. So now we test the 4 and we pop in some wind. One thing I'm actually going to do, so wind is into, let's hit the big dog. That's not going to stay in the fairway. And there's why you don't hit the big dog. All right, I'm going to re-hit because this is an impossibly difficult shot. which is perfect. That's what I want it to be. Hopefully, yeah, see, that's a much more difficult shot with that 3-wood. Oh, that's a good-looking ball here. Go. Nope. Right. This is good. This is good. Yepers. Okay. The one thing I did want to do is I want to reduce the fringe. It's a little bit wide for me. I'm going to do that here in... Let's go down to 30. That's much better. I just didn't, I just didn't like the way the fringe looked. All right, we're going to play the golf course. We're going to change the wind direction up. And then I'm going to take my leave of you. So we're going to keep it on 4. Let's go east. Oh, that's difficult wind on this hole because they blow this ball right out through the fairway. If you hit it too far, you're down where I'm at. Ooh, bad swing. Might have rather been in the bunker. That's going to just roll for an hour. Stop. Thank you. Ooh, stay up, ball. Okay. That wasn't terrible. Thing is, downwind, I might go ahead and hit the 3-wood. Now, that's further right than I would prefer to be, but I got to carry. Can it? Yeah, it'll carry, but it's not going to stay on the green. Again, when I'm play testing, I'm happy with that result because that means that the hole is designed in such a way that that kind of miss gets hurt. And see ya. That's why I don't play a lot on 213 greens. That ain't too bad. I do kind of like the way this looks so far. We'll see if we go ahead and we're going to try the driver here, see if I can keep it in the fairway. I don't think I can. Yeah. So now I'm just at an awkward, I have to do a partial. And that actually worked out fine. And that's a birdie. I mean, you should birdie that hole. Next hole is a par 3, which I'm going to work on a different time, probably off camera. But thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this content, maybe you want to see something more of this course being built, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That'll help get my content out there. I haven't been making a lot lately, but I'm kind of on a YouTube kick right now. I don't like the way that looks. I'll fix that later. But I'm kind of on a YouTube kick now, so I've got this going, and I've got a City Skylines video in the works. So, be on the lookout, and we'll see what we see. So take it easy, everyone. Thanks for being here. See you next time.